Hello friends! It has been about 4 months, almost exactly 4 months, since 2025 started, and it is time for me to do a bit of an evaluation on the goals that I set, the 52 goals that I set for the year. I watched Malin do a video kind of like this for her first quarter, and I really enjoyed it. I love how she was organizing and changing and shifting and adding goals, or sub-goals even, to her preliminary goals for the year, just reevaluating things. And so that inspired this. And also because I have the worst habit of falling prey to out of sight, out of mind. And usually it is for these big goals that I set at the beginning of the year, but also just like any goal. And it's never because I stopped wanting the thing or wanting to do the thing that I set the original goal for. It's literally just because I forgot in the way that like life will life. Things get busy, people get sick. I feel like kind of daily survival aspect takes over, and yeah, the goals just kind of fall to the wayside. But I do have a journal this year, one journal specifically for my goals, which I've never really done before. No, I've never done before. Thank you once again to Elaine for gifting me this notebook. I love it so much. And I have been sort of cataloging my progress, where there is any, on each of these 52 goals. And spoiler, there has been progress. Not in all of them, certainly, but in several of them. So today we're going to go over this, and I'm going to jot down any of the progress that I have skipped in the last month. Skipped noting, I should say. And I think just also think about reevaluating some of the goals that I thought I wanted at the beginning of the year, and either are now things I tried and don't want anymore, or are just trying to be realistic about things. So we're gonna go in the order that I originally set the goals in. So goal 1 is to organize my personal library and get unread shelves down to 4. So at the tail end of last year and the beginning of this year, I did organize my library. So I'm gonna give myself half a point for this one. Off to a great start. I have, however, since that cataloging, bought several more books. So let's go ahead and catalog them real quick, because right now they're just sitting in piles, and I don't want that to happen at the end of the year. This needs to be, it needs to stay organized. I guess that would be the amendment to the goal. It needs to stay organized. So the way that this first category goes is these 3 are read fiction shelves, or like the N.K. Jemisin books, where I've read the first book in the series but haven't read the other 2. This next one is all nonfiction, vaguely categorized by concept. And then underneath that I have unread YA fiction and then unread other genres, since I've been collecting since I was a kid. A lot of these are books I bought during Independent Bookstore Week, though this one came from the library because I had to buy it. Poor Thor, this is the first time he's ever had toys, and he's learning what is and is not a toy. To be fair to him, I did put this in the toy area on accident, so. Alright, done. Now, I am going to be honest, I think I shot too far with this goal. As I went over, I actually have currently 8, depending on how you count, or 10 or whatever. I have 8 unread shelves right now, and 4 of 8, that is so many books still. It just seems silly. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and amend this goal to one shelf that I go through completely. And I'll go ahead and date this as well, because on average each shelf has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 or 20 books. That would be incredible to go through those books sufficiently enough that I have read them and they can therefore be moved, or I've decided that I want to go ahead and donate them after all. Goal 2, complete Couch to 5K. This one is interesting because I did start and I did track my progress. You guys can't read that, but you can see there's progress being tracked. I started on the first day of the year, made it through week 2 completely. I think I stopped somewhere in week 3. Oh, I left for a trip. This is how I always get off track, is I either leave for a trip and then find it hard to get back on track when I return home, or I get sick and have a hard time getting back on track after I'm well again. Anyways, I have of course made it harder for myself starting over again now as we are in the warmer months, but I think after Vietnam and with going and gardening in the mornings, I've still kind of conditioned myself to the current heat, and as we increase, I'm hoping it won't be that bad. That said, I'm not going to change this goal because I do have faith in it. I'm just going to start retracking again, which leads us into goal 3. Complete couch to 10K or equivalent. Obviously nothing is written down here because nothing has been done. As a rule of thumb that I did not listen to, I would not normally do goal stacking in this way because of course if you fail one goal, you're not going to be able to get to the second goal. I have learned that lesson through watching people, actually on AuthorTube, which was really interesting. And yet I still did it here. I do, but I perhaps delusionally believe that I am going to accomplish this. Goal 4 is publish a closet full of cauldrons. Now I have been tracking just vaguely, like on 0106 I had a big realization on how to connect the assistant step. Wrote that down, that's very fun. On 0227 I sent it off to beta readers, and soon here we're going to have a whole new thing about starting the final draft, which is very exciting. It's so funny to me because back in that OG video on my goals, I even mentioned how I wasn't sure if I wanted to publish a closet full of cauldrons under Kate Kavanaugh, and then I made this video where I was really leaning towards publishing it under my real name, but I wasn't for sure what I wanted to do. I read all of the comments and I really feel swayed in a way that feels good and right to go ahead and use Kate Kavanaugh after all. I'm also excited to use Kate Kavanaugh after all, so it really is like, I've come back around to it in a way that's really nice. I think part of that is, maybe this is a separate video, but this idea of saving Kate Kavanaugh and whatever audience I would have built up for some maybe traditional publishing deal that I'll maybe get in the future. And it just, not only does it feel like a lot of maybes, but you know, I've documented here under Kate Kavanaugh the entire time, specifically with this project, and it just feels right. All that to say, I will be using Kate Kavanaugh on the book and it will be done this year. For sure. I'm aiming for August right now, which is very exciting. An August publication. I have an editor that I've been in touch with, a very lovely editor that I'm excited to work with. I'll be making a video here soon about the little tweaks I'm doing following my beta reader feedback, which was awesome. I'm going to be getting in touch with cover designers soon for both A Closet Full of Cauldrons and the follow-up that I'm currently working on, A Basement Brimming with Bodies. We'll talk about that here soon. And yeah, I don't have any exact date in August. There's a lot of things with this book that I am doing for the first time. Like, I want to have print copies. That's something I've never done before. Pre-orders, haven't done that before. And also, I think I would like to get the audiobook up, and hopefully it would be around the same time or at the exact same time as the ebook and the print book would be available. That's another thing that I've never done before, either hiring someone for it or narrating it myself. And though I film all of these videos, I don't think I have the greatest narrating voice, but I do think there's something really lovely about a book being narrated by the author because you know exactly where they wanted all that inflection to be. So it's just things I'm considering, but obviously that takes time. So I feel very confident about sometime in August. It's just when is the question. All right, goal 5 is to crochet plushies and send them to friends, or anything I crochet, I guess that should be the asterisk, anything I crochet and finish and send to friends. All of those steps are important. I do get another whole point here for this because I have done that once, and also this is one of those goals that I have for the year in order to get me up to a full 52, that every single one that I do, that I complete and I send and I give, counts as a point. So I can really rack up the goals accomplished here. I created and made this really fun little dragon egg dice bag that I gave to my husband's friend for his birthday. I do currently have some more whips that are part of the way through, but none sent. Therefore, no point. Now for another one where every single time I do it I get a point, I am trying to learn to cook, and every new recipe that I try I get a point for. So on January 3rd I made sag paneer, on January 6th I made Irish stew, on January 16th I made like this pasta soup stew thing that was very good, but not exactly how it was meant to turn out. So what does that make me? Up to like 4.5 already. You'll notice that these were very heavily in January. I was truly on a roll at the beginning of the year. And then, as I mentioned, life do be lifing, and fell a little bit by the wayside. However, oh, I didn't bring it in here with me. I got this cookbook and I am very excited because I watched this lady on YouTube and she's phenomenal and really fun, and I just like the way she talks about food, and I'm excited because this also feels like learning to cook on easy mode in some ways, because that's the whole point, is that it is easy and delicious. It's not meant to take a lot of time, but it's meant to be like healthy and balanced, and that's what I am trying to work toward. So I am very excited about that. Another one that's gonna get me half a point is for goal 7, which is plant herbs and veggies in my garden. And I'm giving half a point because I did plant tomatoes, peppers, and marigolds to help keep the bugs away from my tomatoes and peppers. But I haven't done the herbs yet. I do have space in some garden beds out there, but I'm also kind of debating inside herbs maybe. Anyways, half a point. I'm gonna start having to let editing me count up how many points I have. Goal 8 was to complete the first draft of my religious throuple story, which still lives in my head and I get a little like knock on the brain for probably once a day. But as I mentioned in that OG goals video in late December, early January, I completely outlined the story. I had a crazy outlining spree and it was wonderful. But as I was beginning to draft it, I could feel there was just something ever so slightly, something so small that was missing from it. There's just like one little thing more that I want for it to be just that tinge more hooky. You know what I mean? So I'm still letting it marinate. I'm letting it percolate. I'm letting it knock on the brain. And hopefully one of these times the knocks will just like blow the door wide open and the answer will be there. Yes, it will be so there that I won't even have time to answer the door. It'll be like I have to drop everything and begin working on it. I see it. Goal 9 was to complete the first draft of A Basement Brimming with Bodies, which I started drafting on April 2nd-ish with some bonus words that I did on the flight home from Vietnam. It is going so well so far. As of this recording, I'm at 22,622 words. My graph is looking good. I set up the goal to be done on July 30th, but with the reintroduction of 5K Fridays on the YouTube channel, so every other Friday or just about, going forward, I'm going to be basically having an afternoon in my time stream where I'm trying to tiptoe my way over to 5,000 words for the day. So some of the days I'll have started with like 2,100, I think is what I started with last week before I started the stream. Other days I might start with no words and try and get 5,000 on the stream. I think that's going to move me up to finishing faster than July 30th, but I'm already feeling so good about the way things are progressing, and this is the first time at about 22,000 words that I had a bit of a brain blast that I need to change what I had outlined ever so slightly. It's kind of just like tweaking things and moving stuff around a little bit, and it feels really, really good. I'm actually, once I stop recording this, I'm going to be working on that this afternoon, and then I'll get to draft again starting tomorrow. So, woof, I'm feeling awesome. Okay, goal 10 was query under the influence, which is my mystery thriller project. I did a 0 draft a while ago, and then I completed the first draft during the 100K Q4 challenge. This is one of those where I think I'm gonna have to be realistic because I would still like to do this. But I don't know, with the other goals on my list and the other projects that are like a little bit farther along, I don't know if this is gonna be the priority for this year. Why can't I just duplicate myself and have little me's all working on different things at the same time? You know? Why? I am gonna keep this goal on the list so far. I'm not gonna cross through it because realistically, who knows, you know, maybe once I finish some of those that are taking more precedence, I'll have the time and I'll be ready to work on it. I don't know. And it is something I would still like to do, but it might also be like next year. What we're gonna do next is, it is some of those goals that are taking precedence. Whoops. We're gonna skip over the next couple goals, as I did in the OG video, and revisit goal 14, which is finish my handwritten zero draft project. Is it done? No. I am going to be taking it with me on a flight, on a trip that I'm going to be having mid-May, and I just want to finish it then. It's so funny because I enjoy writing it. It's just like little snippets of scenes that I have in this vague idea of a story, zero drafting, just fun, by hand. But man, does it take a long time by hand. But it is fun. It's just not a priority. And so it kind of feels like it's just there. Actually, I'm staring at the notebook right there. Kind of feels like it's just there. And every day there's just a little part of it that's like, haha, haha, you have not finished me yet. So I'd like to just get that done. Goal 15 is to crochet a larger wearable. I started this project in Vietnam, and initially I didn't even think about it being a larger wearable, but it would indeed be a larger wearable. I showed this off, but I think this side is currently perhaps finished once I try it on. So it'll go like this. It's a little hexagranny shirt. And then I am currently in the process of doing the second side so that I can see if I need to add more rows to both of them. It's bamboo, it's light, so it's a wearable I can get use of all year here in Texas. That said, I do also have the lover in quotes cardigan that I started working on, and I also have this like bauble cardigan that I think will be really pretty whenever I eventually finish it. The goal is just one though, one larger wearable, and I think the shirt really is the best bet. Also, I have some other crochet goals that I wrote down on the list, but also I am going to be crocheting my brother and future sister-in-law a blanket for their wedding. I'm very excited about it because my grandma used to crochet us, can you see from here? No, they're up just a little bit higher. She used to crochet, I have so many crochet blankets from her, or like my birthday as a kid, even as an adult, and it's just something that I'm excited to get to continue in a lot of ways. So getting to crochet them one for their wedding is just gonna be so fun, but it is gonna take a lot of time. So would be nice to get some of these wearables done. Goal 16 is to take a class from the local community, and it's interesting because my word for the year was community. I have not yet done this, but I have already signed up for one with my mother-in-law to take a cooking class. So in some ways I'm gonna get to do 2 goals completed. And it's gonna be Indian food, which I'm really excited for. That'll be in May, and later May, so it's coming up. I also found a place that I can take classes from the community, which is kind of part of the hurdle, is figuring out which places might work well. So it's just signing up, and the summer is about to be really busy for me, but after the summer I think I will have some time to take, you know, because some of these community classes are like a group of 4 classes, but I don't want to be gone for one of them. So anyways, I am on the lookout for more. I won't count this as accomplished yet until I do it, but next trimester check-in I'll have done it. Goal 17 is to sew an outfit. My mom bought me some fabric, which I could maybe use. I also have a whole bunch of fabric that I could, right down there, that I could use, and I now have a better idea of the shapes that I like and what I like to wear. And I've done enough sewing to learn from the mistake of not washing the fabric before I begin sewing. So while I've not done this goal yet, I am feeling up to the challenge, and I kind of have a hard goal deadline in some ways of Comic-Con. This year I'm going with Becca, and Becca is just like the queen of like her made clothing. She's made so many incredible outfits, and it's so inspiring. And so if I could just have like one outfit, or honestly if I could have one piece that was me made, I would love that. I'd love to wear it at Comic-Con. So that's a hard goal for the first one. And the fun part about outfit is that realistically a dress counts as an outfit. So if I just have one item maybe I could do it. Goals 18 and 19 are complete my closet clean out, which I've not done yet, and complete the kitchen clean out, which we recently had our disposal break. So in some ways we've been forced to clean out underneath the cabinet, like near the disposal, but that is such a small part of the entire kitchen that it would feel very silly to count it. So haven't done those yet. Do think they still need to be on the list. They are big goals and I need to get, and I need to do them. Goal 20 is to read 26 books, and I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm in the midst of a couple more. Unlike the other number-based goals, this one is just gonna count for 1 because I don't think 26 is maybe a little bit of a stretch for me, depending on how things are going, but also like not really. So clearly I am a little bit behind, but I also just recently started a buddy reading thing with a friend, and I think we'll be more or less on track to finish at least a book a month buddy reading. So that'll be awesome. And I guess the buddy read itself could be like a little mini goal alongside that. Actually, I might write that down as a fun addition to the goal. Buddy read challenge started. Yay. Also, over on Patreon, we are starting up our Crafts and Drafts book club again with The Hobbit, which I've never read before. So all that to say, I think I am gonna get to 26 books pretty easily. I'm feeling good about this goal. Goal 21, post Japan vlog. I am no closer to that than I was at the start of the year. Goal 22, record and post Vietnam vlog. Now I hate to give myself much credit for this, but I did record it. You will never find me saying that recording is worth half of a credit for making a video, but because I'm already talking decimals, I am gonna give myself 0.25. A quarter credit for the goal of recording and posting the Vietnam vlog. And that all feeds into goal 23, yes, which is start my second channel. Now, at the beginning of the year, it was really funny because I was kind of torn on if I wanted to do a second channel or if I wanted to combine everything here on Kate Kavanaugh Writes. And in January, I had like a little mini goal of just testing it out and seeing if I liked combining everything. And I'm glad I tested it because it turns out I don't. I love watching other people's like week in the life kind of videos. I even have some creators where that's all they do is like weekly vlogs, and I think those are so fun to watch. Turns out I don't love making them. I love having a specific topic or two that I'm covering within a video, whether that's chatty ones or it's an experiment or it's even a vlog, but like there's a purpose, there's a time constraint, you know, like yes, so to that end, I don't think including everything I'm doing is actually very fun for me on my end. So I do have that answered, and I do still think I want to make the second channel. I figure it'll just be later in the year. I have some more pressing goals that need to happen first. Goal 24 is to create some crochet goodies to send for a closet full of cauldrons. I have bookmarked so many fun, cute little crochet things that I think are a closet full of cauldrons and vibe, and I'm thinking I'll just make like 50 of them maybe, and just include them for the first like 50 or so people who order a signed copy of the book. That's what I'm thinking. That's where it's percolating right now, and then maybe like a giveaway for a bigger crochet thing alongside the book, and stuff for Patreon and things like that. So it is a big goal. I do probably need to get started on it more than just the ideation phase. So this is a good note to self. Goal 25 was stick to a skincare routine for 100 days. Have I done this exactly? Absolutely not. But I have been a little bit better, a little bit more regular, you know, maybe not every night, but every other night, and maybe not every morning, but every other morning. And I also did go to the dermatologist to get my skin checked out because both of my parents are dealing with like various skin cancers that just keep popping up, and I wanted to be safe rather than sorry, and I am fine. And also the dermatologist gave me some medicine-y things, testers to use on the like discoloration I was having from the like just like acne scarring remnants, I don't know. So I feel much better than before, though 100 days no, that's not true yet. But slowly but surely, I am happy to see improvement both in my skin and also in coming closer to making a routine. And obviously I think those two have to be connected. So that should be the motivation to just keep getting closer and closer to that 100 days in a row. Plan and execute a monthly date night can be an artist state. I think in some ways this goes back to the community aspect, but also it just goes back to like getting out of the house. It could be a friend's date, you know. I feel like I've done a really good job of that actually. I have several on here, so I'm thinking the way I'm gonna do this, I'm switching things up a little bit. Initially, I guess I thought this would just be like a 1-point thing, but I didn't really register how I would do this. Now I think I'm gonna go based off of the month. I get a point if I did the thing, and I don't get a point if I don't. So, more points here. Hooray! We started doing trivia nights with friends on certain weeks. I have done some solo dates. I've done some friend dates. We did some actual romantic dates. It has been wonderful. Who is she? Going out, getting out of the house, exploring. Goal 27 has been to attend craft club when in town, and somehow I just have not been in town when the craft clubs were happening, or I was sick, or like something just kept coming up, but not in a way that was me avoiding it. Gotta check in with myself there, but it wasn't. So I still do want to do this, but that leads into goal 28, which is join and attend a local book club. I did! I attended it in person with my friend, and it was so funny to chat over the book and hear one person would be complaining about things that happened and just listing off the things they didn't like, and then it'd be like, you know, it was a 3-star for me or whatever, and you're like, oh, interesting, there seemed like there was a lot you didn't like to give it a 3-star, and then we'd go around and the next person would like list all these things they loved, and then they would be like, 3-star, you know? I was like, well, you seem to really like it for 3 stars. And it was just so interesting and fascinating to hear how different people thought of different things, and also get like some people had some incredible feedback. Even if I disagreed with them, it was really interesting to see. It's just a great reminder as a writer. I always like to make myself feel better by going to a book I love on Goodreads and just seeing people who have like rated it 2 or 1 stars, and I'm like, no matter what, even the best book, there will be people who don't like it for a variety of reasons, you know? But it was nice to hear in person. It was really interesting, and I'm excited to go back again. Hopefully I'll be in town for the next one. So, and I do think I'm at the point now that I've gone with my friend, but also to the crafty club last year, that I could go now completely by myself and have a good time. I feel good about it. Goal 29 was to integrate stretching for 30, 60, or 90 days. It was kind of like little mini goals within it, not to count for anything extra, though maybe I should. Maybe I should just be giving my points for anything. In the OG video, I said I wasn't gonna start in January, and guess what? I did not start in January, February, March, or April. So I do think I'm gonna start in May, because I was having some hip pain the other day, and I was stretching to help me, and you know what would probably help? If I did that regularly. I'm going on the record, as I mentioned, I'm going to be traveling a lot in the summer, which also you're like in different positions than you would be flying or driving by car a lot. So I think starting the stretching now would really, really help. May is going to be my month for my 30, okay? And then June and July, 30, 60, 90. Fingers crossed. And then my final goal, was it my final goal? Oh, I wrote more goals. Look at me adding goals. Make a different type of bread each month. So February 5th, I did make a rosemary garlic pull-apart bread, and it was delicious. It was so buttery. This is another goal where every time I do it, I get a point. So I'm also gonna give myself a point for having made my Brazilian cheese bread, which I've done a couple times this year. And it is a bread that I have made before, so in some ways it shouldn't count, but I said a bread every month, and I'm gonna give myself credit. I think the rest of the breads will be, well, they have to be. They will be completely new to me breads that I will be making, and going to Vietnam and having the bread there, it was just so good. So I'm excited to, it just kind of like reinvigorated me for this goal. Okay, then I won't talk about the other 2 goals, but that's okay. They're little things. How many points did I end up with? I don't know. I don't know, but I feel good about it. I'm glad I'm doing this check-in. I'm glad I didn't really amend or change a whole lot, but it is helpful for me to kind of note now what things aren't taking priority, and it's probably a good point that when I do this next check-in, that if it's still not a priority, maybe they get crossed through completely. You know, this is just like a little starring system right now. It's a check-in. And maybe I won't wait until the next 4 months are past. Maybe I'll do one like middle of the year, and I think that might help me decide some things. Yeah, but that's gonna be it for me. Please do comment down below. Let me know how your year of goals are going. If anything has changed for you in the past few months, if you have any silly things that you've added, and let me know how often you also kind of evolve and change your goals. If you're someone who does a check-in, or if like me, you are kind of new to the check-in game, what you do when you're checking in with yourself. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with a new video.